Um, Hi, everyone. My name is Benjamin. I'm one of the co-founders of Spotlite. We are a fashion-based platform helping bridge the gap from talent to client. We're currently helping both models and creatives connect with client, manage their bookings, their schedules, and their contracts. I'd like to introduce everyone to the team right now. To my left, I have my co-founder, Hannah Choy.
Hello.
Across the table from me, I have my current COO, Andrew Shin, our CX team lead, Eric Lee, and our soon-to-be, already CTO, Andy Kim.
Andy Lee.
Andy Lee.
Aww.
Okay, run it back. Run it back. Run it back. Let's run it back.
We're not all Kim.
Okay, I'm sorry. Across from me, I have our CTO, Andy Lee. If I think we can just go around the table, as this is kind of our first introduction to what we're doing at Spotlite and what everybody's roles are, why they decided to come into the company, and we can just have a little bit of conversation about that. So Hannah, maybe you can start. You're our acting CEO. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background before you came into Spotlite?
Hi everyone. I'm Hannah of Spotlite. Before I started Spotlite, I was in the startup investment scene. So I was running a lot of acceleration program, and I was in Korea and multiple regions in Southeast Asia. Met a lot of founders, and then figured out a way to how to help them. That was my job. And Benjamin Cap brought this problem that exists in the fashion and commercial shooting industry. And I thought that was fascinating to solve it together. So I decided to start Spotlite together with.
Yeah, I'd like to say myself, I came from the fashion industry, but never really had a traditional business background. So I knew I had my own limitations into the startup environment and running a company and the typical things that go on in the business environment. And that's why Hannah, I thought, was my perfect co-founder. As you mentioned, you already had some experience kind of overseeing startups, watching them go from 0 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the right track, right?
Yep.
And what now is different for you being in the startup as opposed to being outside looking over, watching the startup grow?
That's a good question. We are just closing our seed round, and then I think we had close to 100 meetings with a lot of VC. I was on the other side of the table before, so now it felt very weird and also exciting at the same time. I think, founders are facing more day-to-day basis challenges more than I expected. Like from a lot of paperwork to establish one company, to marketing, to product, to CX, to everything. So it was more challenging job than I expected. But yeah, like by understanding what kind of help that we can get from my experience to doing the actual startup work, it's pretty interesting, I would say.
Changing every day, right?
It is, definitely.
Maybe some of the other members of the team, because I know Andrew personally had his own startup experience and was working as an entrepreneur before or alongside Google, correct? Maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about how that situation and environment is a little different to what's going now, because I know, and I think everybody can agree, there's always something new happening within Spotlite. The fashion industry is really dynamic and things are forever changing. But maybe you can touch a little bit on like how your prior startup experience kind of helped you transition into working at Spotlite now.
Sure. Do I introduce myself first?
Yeah,
or?
please,
Yeah.
go ahead.
All right. So I'm Andrew. I am the COO at Spotlite. What I do here, I guess, I think everybody really have the same job. It's to survive and grow, right?
That's true.
But to specify, I think my job is to plan and execute how to run this venture as safe as possible and as efficient as possible. and at the same time growth in terms of obviously its sales. And there are many stakeholders within this industry, so we got to let people know that we are in it for certain reasons, which I guess it's closely related to branding exercises, which we're planning. So just overall decision makings and anything that would help this company grow and maintain, I'm doing everything I can. Yeah, that's my role here.
Maybe you can touch a little bit about like your background before coming into Spotlite, because I know you were a little bit more involved with like a large corporation, and I'm sure that's very different than the environment now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess starting from HyperConnect, that's actually where I met Hannah as a business development manager. I worked there doing data. How do I say? Data analysis and actual sales activities within the Middle MENA region. And then after HyperConnect, I moved to Google, where I worked at the Google Customer Solutions Department, assisting clients with marketing consulting and any type of Google Ads related inquiries, or whatever I can do to make their company grow. And while working at Google, I joined the founding team, which was a mobile application called Gymwork. Working there part-time doing an entrepreneurship was very tough because at the end of the day, there's a lot of feedbacks that we gotta how do I say? We need to make changes within our platform, and obviously everybody in the team was doing part-time jobs, so the response was quite late. And so like I don't know if that was the coincidence or not, but after we started that business, there's a lot of similar competition coming in. So other competitors started to getting investments and marketing activities. So we were having a hard time. So I guess biggest thing I learned there was that like you can't really half-ass founding a company, right? I think this is a full-time commitment, and that's the biggest lesson learned. And at the same time, it was the first really leadership role that I took in this startup industry, and more difficult than I thought, managing people and making decisions that would comply with everybody. It was quite a difficult thing to do. So there's a couple of personal lesson learned from there. So even after that experience of leaving my founding team, I still wanted to participate in this industry and be an entrepreneur or joining an early stage startup. Like after Google, I realized that that's where I would still like to go, and Hannah and Benny gave me this opportunity to participate in this great journey, so I decided to go with it.
Yeah, I think I can speak for both of us. Like we're more than it's really hard to sum up. I would say my personal experience so far is the real key to this startup ecosystem is the team that you have on board. Having a really clear problem and solution for that problem is definitely as equally important. But if you don't have the proper support network and people you can trust and really rely on and count on, then it's going to be 10 times harder. I think you can also
100%.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so saying that, like one of the biggest reasons why I decided to join this team, even though it's a big risk for me to move from a big corporation to early stage startup, is because of the team, really. Obviously, there's a rational reason of like the size of the problem that we're dealing with, and obviously that consequences usually comes to a bigger outcome of, let's just say ROI, right? I think when I analyzed it, which was just 3 to 4 people, it definitely had all the necessary talents who need to be in it in order to be successful of this concept. And seeing Hannah doing the final IC with Antler, that really put a stamp on my mind.
Round of applause. That was
phenomenal.
That was long.
That was a long time ago, but that was my final decision making highlight. So yeah.
Glad we invited him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to just pass it on now to Eric, who was one of our first employees at the company. Eric used to work with me at a former agency that I was involved with. And I think we both kind of identified some of the problems that were existing there and shared the same sentiment of wanting to solve them.
So my name is Eric from Spotlight. I'm a CX team lead, and yeah, I was working in the model industry for a couple of years before, and I've seen a lot of problems. And when Betty and Hannah came up to me and saying this problem, they can solve it, we can solve it. I trusted them. That's why I joined this company, and I think it's happening soon.
I mean, we're trying. I think every day is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
its own battle, but
Right.
yeah, we're doing our best.
Yes, we are.
So what do you do at the Spotlight?
So mainly, I communicate with the client to make them find the best model from Spotlight, and
Mhm.
also I talk to model to make them have a best shooting experience through the Spotlight.
And do you think, because I know before when you were working at the agency, everything was done very old school style, very manual. I think the platform now is making that a lot easier. The functions and features and
Right.
filtering capabilities we have now, thanks to Andy. I don't know, maybe you can talk a little bit about like how clients' experience so far has been improved in terms of efficiency and time and
So the main thing was when client wants to book a model, they will have to talk with like a middle agency or other agency people. They make a phone call or they visit the agency or the agency goes to the client to have a casting. But in Spotlight, the client actually can go to the website and they can just click a few times and they can find the best model for their rent. So I think that is the most thing.
and your feedback so far, because I think you're among the team having the closest communication with the client. Have they so far been really positive? Has there been any negative feedback so far, like stuff we can make as an improvement, or has like most of the communications that's coming back to you been positive?
Okay, so whenever clients request from us, I also request them a feedback, and I will say half positive, half negative, but not really negative, which is those negative feedback also helps.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
whenever I text Andy, hey Andy, this client says this negative thing, I think we can solve it by doing this, and Andy is like 10 seconds done. He's a magician.
A little bit exaggerated.
Yeah, I think everybody feels the power of Andy
Right.
now being on the team. I know we had previously worked with some devs before, and the experience was really positive, but things never really got done in a manner that was effective for us to grow. And since Andy came on, it's black and white. Like, I think everybody can attest to that. Maybe Andy, you can share a little bit about your background, when you joined the team, and what it's been like working for Spotlight so far.
Okay, my name is Andy, a tech guy in Spotlight. Before talking about how I joined Spotlight, just maybe I can introduce my background.
Yeah, for sure.
I was the typical engineer working for Samsung Electronics like about 6 years, and at the time I really had no idea about any kind of the businesses or entrepreneurship. But suddenly somehow there's some I read some article about some the starting business without the capital at the beginning. So it was quite fascinated, and so after that I decided to start my own business and want to provide some very valuable product to the people. So I created the Samsung Electronics, and after that I felt some of the tries with the some products, especially online product. At the time, I was really had no idea about how to learn business or how to start business. So I just made some stuff like because I was really good at software engineering. I think but after some how can I say like I tried to get some money from the investors and I failed a few times and I just it was the moment that I cannot be done with just doing myself with all this stuff like making product it's kind of very difficult to achieve. So I decided to work in the other startups and that was very helpful and still I had the ambitious goal to start my own business. So I applied to the investors, the startup program, the Antler, Antler Korea. So I met Hannah and Benny and Eric at there. It was great, and the first time I met, actually I had no idea about any the Spotlite businesses. So
in the early days at Antler,
early days Antler, because I was focused on my own problem with my own team, the previous team. We are focusing on problem in Indonesia, but I could hear some the story about the Spotlite from Hannah. So it was also very the fascinating business because the BM was very clear and just from my point of view like the providing the Hannah's basic idea is for me it's like it's very capable kind of the product. So but at the time I had no room for doing other stuff, so I had to focus on the business. And after I actually had some how to say like a little issue with the previous team, and I had to quit, and I was looking for a new chance to start so some different area or different industry, and also I need to need to get some money, as I need to earn some money, so I had to join some already established company. So the Spotlite was one of them, but what was the best one? So so I decided to join, and actually we had a few times to talk about the team and the business.
This was when me and Hannah were selling everybody on the idea of this company and taking everybody to samgyeopsal or drinks and trying to get them to join.
There are a lot of Korean barbecues involved.
Right. So
sure.
I think more than half of the conversation was probably is not related to the business, but it was really great.
It worked.
Yeah. But really, it was great time to know the how's the team and what actually the Hannah thinking about the business and Benny's. There was it's a great moment that I can decide myself to just put myself 100% to Spotlite.
I'd like to ask everyone, did you ever imagine yourself working within the fashion industry? Because I know everybody has their own very unique background, but I don't think anybody really had maybe a close relationship with the fashion industry or commercial shooting. I guess is kind of where we're subcategorized. Maybe you guys can all kind of touch a little bit about that. Like, a year ago, did you see yourself working for a fashion-based platform?
Oh, I mean, not at all. I liked buying clothes, but I never imagined myself working in the fashion industry. I didn't know anybody working in the fashion industry. I had no idea what to expect, but I guess, our founders, Hannah and Benny, sold me on that idea pretty good. So I was convinced enough to actually participate in this industry.
Hannah, Andy?
Oh, I was not a fashionable. I shop like 3 times a year at Zara, just because I needed something. That was it. But Yeah, it's really interesting. I like that lots of creativity involved in this industry. Lots of brand or creative, they try something new all the time, which is super exciting. And now that we go to the shooting from time to time, I see how the work's getting done. It's actually really fun. So yeah, I'm liking it more and more. But did I see myself in this industry? No.
Mm. How about yourself, Andy?
I really had no idea about this fashion industry, and even I was, until I finished my military service, I was kind of, in Korea, people call like the passion terrorist. This is kind. I really had no sense about any, how to wear some, the proper stuff.
Can you give us an example? What did you
Yeah,
wear?
I'm curious.
It was quite a long time, so
Okay.
at that time there was some standard, but I really never followed the standard. But that was not my intention. Just I just choose what I can choose in my house.
Yeah.
So, for example, maybe like how to say it, like just that the pants was not fit, like a super big, you know.
But that's the Korean style now, right? Is everything is kind of baggy,
Nowadays
right?
this is kind of makes sense, but just
Yeah.
at that time it's not a trend at all.
And then you.
Do you think
Yeah, you-
do you think you're not a fashion terrorist anymore?
At least I can just look normal, I guess.
I mean, show the audience. Like, how would you
Andy,
rate his outfit
can you
today?
can you give everybody a full 360? Let everybody see the
No,
outfit.
let's not go
Uh,
there.
Recently, I really don't care much about my fashion, but the few years ago, I did kind of take care of my how do I look kind of thing. So yeah, I guess I'm not that bad.
Yeah, I'll give you 9 out of 10.
I give it 10 out of 10.
Thank you so much.
I'm just waiting to see everybody as like we progress and get deeper into this fashion rabbit hole, how everybody's personal style starts to change. Because I can see like bits and pieces here and there that the first time I met everyone, nobody dresses the same. That's for sure.
That's true.
Maybe Eric, you still have a similar aesthetic, but I think for sure Andy, Hannah, and Andrew, their fashion taste is changing quite quickly.
Before I say something, I gotta tell Andrew that I've been working on his fashion style. I've been working on because personally, I think he wears like a ajashi, right? And I didn't like it, so I told him to wear like a varsity jacket and just human-made pants.
But I
And-
think Andrew did give you a street style jacket, right?
I did.
The big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he cannot wear it.
I mean, I don't know. It's too shiny for me.
That's a fashion.
But, you got your hair highlighted, and I thought that type of jacket would fit you better than me.
I'd just like to put out one quick call out to some of our talent pool. So as we kind of mentioned before, Spotlite is hosting models and creatives, and we're helping them manage their contracts, connect with clients, and kind of grow themselves as a talent within the fashion industry. We are now looking for new agency-based talent, agencies that are interested in connecting with us, freelance talent, and freelance creatives. We do offer some really, really great services on the platform. I'd like to touch that we are talent-centric. We really have a focus on putting power back in the hands of the talent. And some of the stuff we're offering are 0% commission on the talent side. We have no exclusivity, so agents and agencies, please have no fear. We're just here to help your models book more jobs. And we provide full legal contracts for the job at hand, protecting both the scope and the usage rights within that shooting. And then I think maybe you guys can touch on some of the other things that are going on within the product side that are helping make the model's job easier, like scheduling or...
Yeah, I would like to highlight more about client side because it is really good platform for the model because there is no commission or it's easier to manage your job. But on the other side, it's really hard to find the right model for your brand as a client. You usually have to go through 20 to 30 different agencies, talk to everyone, and shortlist by yourself. or ask about the budget, that itself can take weeks or 2 weeks or even more. And Spotlite tried to make that process really efficient. So when you go into Spotlite, you can see who's available for which date and what will be the estimated budget, and also who might be similar to that model very soon. So it will just make your casting experience way easier compared to S's. So that's something that we would like to highlight. Also, so far, lots of players in the market, they didn't have the fixed commission rates. So the quote was pretty much per job. But what Spotlight can promise is we have always a fixed rate. So whoever comes to Spotlight on top of what models desire to get paid, that's our service fee. So you can know exactly what you're paying for. So yeah, those are the things that I would like to highlight.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's lacking right now within the fashion industry is transparency. I know we've all seen it now since working at Spotlight. And yeah, I think it's really, really great that now you know exactly where your dollar's going, and there's never a concern of money being moved around without you really having any concept of what's happening with it. Yeah, so as I mentioned, we're still looking for talent. If you're out there, you're working as a creative, so a photographer, stylist, hair and makeup artist, studio owner. Am I missing any? No? You're working as a model, an influencer, an actor. You're within an agency and you're interested in getting on the platform. Please talk to your agent and ask them to reach out to us or reach out to us personally, and we can get in contact with your agency. Yeah, we're really here just to help you guys book more jobs and make your life easier and make your agent's life easier. Maybe Andrew and Eric can touch base a little bit on who we're looking for in terms of client base.
Everybody, lookbook studios, home shopping clients, whoever requires booking a lot of different models or commercial photography related industry people. Yeah, we can assist. We have the largest pool within the Korea platform. So when it comes to sourcing many different individuals within a specific period of time, I think we can assist the best in Korea. So yeah, please let us know.
Also, if the clients never had shooting before, I can personally explain like 1 to 10 easily, so don't hesitate.
There you go. Please, if you're an independent designer or you have a product and you need to get it shot commercially to bring to market, please reach out to us. Andrew and Eric will take care of you. The service is amazing and it's beyond easy. And we'll cut all the blabbering out after. Yeah, so I think we can kind of wrap up a little bit, as this is really just the intro to getting to know the team and who you're putting your faith in as a creative, a model, or a client. I do want to touch on some of the content we're looking to put out in the future. I think as we do have a deep connection within the fashion industry, it's only appropriate that we start inviting some people within that industry to come and speak on their experiences, as we are looking to build a community around changing the dynamic of this industry for the better. And one of the segments I'd like to start running in the future is a model talk. So I'd like to start bringing in some of the models from our platform where they can share how they got into modeling, how modeling's changed their life, and kind of go through their story, and now using the platform and how it's kind of making their life easier. I don't know if you guys were thinking of doing maybe something for the same side for clients, like individual designers or large-scale clients.
Yeah, I mean, small to medium-sized brands, large brands, or even the lookbook studio owners, and even on the influencer side of the business, from TikTok or Google. Yeah, we have many different things that we talk about.
Yeah, so if anybody listening out there has any suggestions or any thoughts on what they would like to hear from us in the future, I think we're all more than open. Anything fashion related, please. But I think also if our listeners out there have some questions about individuals' backgrounds or startup experience, we can also talk about that. Does anybody have anything else they'd kind of like to share for this first run of our podcast? Insert cricket noise. Chny, do you have anything you'd like to share with everybody out there?
Oh yes, we have our intern, first ever intern here. Her name is Chny. She's been working, making great output in the SNS for us. So amazing hire.
Yeah, we've been getting a lots of feedback and DM about how our contents got better. If you're wondering who's making that behind the scene, that's her. Da-da-da.
Yeah, so I think we can kind of wrap up today. I think it went great. I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to come and do this. I think it's great that we kind of share our experience, as I think a lot of people know that this industry is quite closed off. And I think it's really good that we start to break down those walls and make the industry just as a whole more transparent. Anybody listening, please like, sub, share this podcast. We really want to grow and create a community and talk about fashion, talk about anything you guys want to hear about. We have access to pretty much everybody in the fashion industry. So if there's a certain kind of guest you guys want to hear from, please let us know in the comments and we can definitely bring them on next time. Yeah.
Cool.
Go Spotlite.
Go Spotlite.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.